So now we have an introduction to quantified vectors using volumetric variables. This is another way of using quantities. Previously, when we used quantities, we applied the quantity chosen to the whole table. This then affected all the data that you had within the rows and columns, so your V%, your mean values, etc. And it didn't matter what you put in the rows. This alternative is using a volumetric variable, where each group within that variable is a quantity. Note that when you look at the values that the table produces when using a volumetric group or variable, your data is correct except for the vertical percentages. If you want to read your vertical percentages, you'll need to apply an associated quantity to the table, and this becomes the base for the table. So in this example, we don't have a quantity applied to the table as a base. We have a volumetric variable, and you can see this at the top of the table. And we have one group within that variable showing in the rows. This volumetric group will include a weighted count and a quantity weighted count automatically as part of its properties. If you've ticked the box in settings to show weighted count and quantity weighted count, then both of these will automatically be displayed on the table. So here we have a weighted count which refers to population, and here we have a quantity weighted count which refers to the number of times people have played poker machine at a club, bar, pub or hotel. So all of these values are readable and are correct. We also have a mean down at the bottom here, but our V% are not correct. And you can see straight away that most of these values are over 100%. So the vertical percentages do not make sense. What we need to do is apply an overall quantity, and here you can see we've got number of times gambled in the last 3 months, which is the associated quantity for the variable number of times played poker machine, etc., which is the volumetric variable. Now that we have this quantity applied, the V% are calculated correctly. Note that the unweighted count, weighted count, quantity weighted count and the mean data will be the same whether or not the overall quantity is applied. So we can see that in total there were over 0.2 billion occurrences of gambling in the last 3 months. 3.2% of the total gambled in the last 3 months was on Keno at a club. Of the gambling occurrences in the last 3 months in New South Wales, 2,478,000 of them were on Keno at a club. 3.7% of gambling occurrences in the last 3 months in New South Wales were on Keno. And the average number of times each Keno player in New South Wales played Keno was 4.72. Note also that this will not include people who didn't play Keno either at a club or at a casino, etc.